shadows. Shadows are so important to capture correctly in your acrylic portrait. I want to show you how to do that here in this video today. I'm burning the midnight oil. I'm getting this 24 by 30 acrylic portrait done of 30 people. So it is 4:38 in the morning as I record this video. I apologize. I apologize if I just sound a little bit tired because I've been up all night working on this, and I got to get this done for the client, get it to them before 4th of July weekend. So, but I want to show you how to do shadows and how important they are in your acrylic portrait. So take a look. We've got all these feet down here. We don't want them to be floating, you know, in the middle of this pavement. And if we didn't have the shadows there, it would look like they're just floating. Now, here the shadows are more diffused, so it's kind of tricky. It's a cloudy day, or partially cloudy day. The sun is kind of hidden, so we don't have any really super defined shadows. But still, there are diffused shadows being cast by the people here. We want to make sure they're all in there. And I pretty much have them in. I'm just going to refine them a little bit and just add a little more shadow in between some of the people, and just being kind of cast by their feet. This young boy right here has a really nice shadow between him. We want to get that in there, so that's important. By the way, I have a free gift for you, and this is my value checker tool. Values are so important to get right in your portrait. So you can pick up my value checker tool. What it'll do, it'll measure your values. All you have to do is hold it up next to your reference photo, then hold it up next to your painting, and you'll be able to make sure your values are correct so that you don't have to worry about that aspect of your painting. Values are even more important than skin tones, believe it or not, in being able to really get predictable realism each time in your portrait. So pick up my value checker tool today. It's in the top comment of the video here, also in the description, and just click the link and you can download that for free. Print it out and then measure your values. It's like a ruler for your values. But I'm just going and adding some of these additional areas of shading here under their feet, wanting to make sure that we don't have any idea being portrayed that they're just kind of floating along. So we're adding a little shadow being cast from her foot, and I'm just using a glaze of raw umber dark and a little bit of ultramarine blue. And that does the trick. Small round brush. We just kind of put that in really close to their feet here. I'll even zoom in a little bit so you can see really what's going on. But just adding slight glazes here. And that does make a difference. Now, I can get away with a little bit of texture because they're on pavement, so I've already added the idea that there is a little bit of texture here. And that's a good thing. Okay. So that pretty much does that for this video. I just want to show you that quick little tip here. Before I go, let me just give you a little bonus, and I'm going to work on this boy's legs and just kind of darken those up a little bit. And that's all part of shadow too. We want to make sure that we've got kind of a dark shadow on the left side of his leg and just really show that bit of the form there. So that's important. And then we're going to add a little bit of raw umber dark, alizarin crimson, and just kind of darken a couple of spots. Yeah, a little more alizarin crimson. Darken a couple of areas here on the legs. We need to just darken the shadow right on his knee. That's an area that's going to be a little bit darker than some of the other areas. So we darken that a little bit, and away we go. We'll darken it a little bit on the other legs as well. Let's just move this up a bit. Yeah, this whole leg can get a little bit darker as well. So we'll just darken that whole leg a little bit there. There we go. And that just helps to portray that value a little more accurately. All right, I'm going to stop off here. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. I am so close to having this done that I think I'm just going to sign it. And you know, sometimes when you sign a picture, you might see a couple more things that need to be done. But let's just go ahead and sign this portrait, and then we'll call this done. I'm going to zoom in on the lower right corner. There is a trick to signing your painting. There is a trick to signing the painting just to make sure that compositionally it looks good. I'm going to sign it on the right hand side because that's traditional to sign a portrait on the right hand side. I'll sometimes sign it on the left if I have a lot of visual weight. You know, if I have an object on the right hand side, I'll sign it on the left. But in this case here, because there's a good vacant spot on this right side, we have more visual weight on the left with the people standing closer to the bottom there. I'm going to sign it on the right hand side instead. And I'll pick a good color here. And I think this one will work, this kind of alizarin crimson, pyro orange, raw sienna, raw umber dark glaze. And we want to use a nice script liner brush like this. And this is a size 1. Get the paint really fluid. And then we'll just go ahead and sign that. Not too close to the edge because you want it to show up when you have your frame on it. Go ahead and sign that. I don't like to make my signature too big or too prominent. Just prominent enough. I'll usually sign it dark on light, but if you know you have a darker area, then you're going to go with the lighter color. Try to make that as legible as possible. Let's just zoom in here a little bit more, shall we? Let's go down all the way to the bottom so you can see it. Yeah, just sign that just like that. And I like to put in the year as well so that I know when I completed it and other people know when I completed it. I'll put in a little line on the bottom of my signature. Just like to do that just to give it a little extra something there. And there we go. So that is done. Unless I see a couple little extra things, I might add them in, but I'm going to call this painting done. Here we go. Let's zoom out. So this is it. This is the 24 by 30 acrylic portrait with 30 people in it. My first time ever doing a portrait with this many people. And I just want to share this moment with you. I'm celebrating. Thank you, Lord. All right, I'm calling it done. Not to say I might find something that needs to be touched up before I varnish it. We're just going to call this done and celebrate. You know, you have to look back at your artwork when it's finished and say, yeah, this is good. I like it. And we're calling this done. And you got to celebrate. You got to celebrate and take joy in what you create. It's not perfect. You know, I had to get this done for a tight deadline. So there's areas that are a little unresolved. But, you know, I like it overall. I feel like God helped me to do a good job with it. It's not perfect, but, you know, it's good. It's good. And, you know, just like when God created the world and he said it is good, you can say that about your artwork, especially if you've invited God into the process. You've prayed, asked him to help you, you can look at your artwork and say, this is good. And so I'm going to look back and say, yeah, I like this. I'm glad I have it done. And I pray that the client would be thrilled with it. It would be a blessing to them for many years to come. And so the next step is to get this framed. And I think if I have time, I'll put a varnish coat over it too. And I think I should make the time for that because the varnish is such an important part of protecting the painting. So, yeah. Anyway, I just want to share this with you. The last few nuances, shadows in your portrait, signing, all of that. And hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you, and we will see you in the next video. It's done.